Hi folks, Bob Krebs, sales manager with Pure Pursuit Automotive, here to show you our newest acquisition, this beautiful Audi S6. This is one of only 13 currently available in the entire country. This is a 4.0 V8 twin turbocharged engine, and this is one of the most immaculate engine compartments I think you'll find. It is very well engineered, put together. As we move to the front of the vehicle here, you see how the stylish silvers and the chrome go together along with the blacks and the darker colors on the front of the grille here that accent it. You've got the LED lights here as we move around to this side of the vehicle. 19-inch wheels with Pirelli all-weather tires. Coming around to the interior of the vehicle, got a very beautiful leather stitched interior. You've got the white stitching on the black leather, which is a beautiful, beautiful accent to it. And of course the entire panel inside of the vehicle as well, with all of the white stitching is in there. Plenty of room, and of course you've got the adaptive seating as well, the 8-way seats. Moving on to the rear seating area, you've got a lot of room back here. You can literally get 2 adults back here, 2 adults in the front seat very comfortably in this vehicle. You've got pouches in the back, and of course in the back, I'll get to a little bit later, you've got the controls for the air conditioning and the heating in the back also. Fuel. As we move around to the rear of the vehicle here, you'll see that we've got the compartment in the back here where you've got storage on both spaces here. You've got the emergency compartment here where you've got your jack and of course the equipment that you're going to need in case you have to jump the vehicle from the rear. Parktronic sensors in the back, and of course here you have the rear camera that guides you as you have any type of, when you're backing, so that you can see anything in the back that might be able to get in the way of running into something in the rear of the vehicle. So, okay, it's already warmed up and ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and hop in now and start it up, and we're going to take it out for a test drive. I'm going to give you a tour of the interior of the vehicle before we take it for our test drive. So I'm going to start with the center console of the vehicle here with the instrument array. From the left going to the right, obviously we've got the temperature of the vehicle, the tachometer, which will give you an idea of how many revolutions per minute the engine is turning. You've got a center piece here that is going to give you the different navigational off-road, on-road, direction of the vehicle, etc. for navigation, and of course the speedometer as well, 0 to 180, so or 300 kilometers per hour, whichever you prefer. The steering wheel, as with the center console, has duplicated controls. They are replicated so that the driver can keep his or her hands on the wheel at all times and not have to reach over here and become distracted from the road. So in this particular case, for an example, if you want to turn the radio volume up, you can control it from the steering wheel here and decide whether you want to have it up, down, or whatever the most comfortable volume is for you. Or you can turn it down. You can also change the navigation features of the vehicle from here. Or you can use Bluetooth, or you can turn the steering wheel heat on. In this case, I just turned the steering wheel heat on, which is perfect for a cold day if you want to have warm hands and not necessarily have to have gloves on. So again, replicated controls from the steering wheel to the center console. So now we'll move on to the center console. Starting here, we've got a display that gives you information from navigation, which is up currently, to the radio. Gives you the preview of whatever you want to listen to, particularly this is Sirius radio, and in this particular case, whatever you want to listen to that's on Sirius. It's got a media device that will load after just a few seconds for your Bluetooth active device, and of course the Bluetooth has got the microphones on both sides of here so that you can talk on your telephone through the stereo of the car. And of course Bluetooth is operating here off of the phone as well. We've got the CD/DVD, which will play on this particular screen here, and of course your CDs play through the vehicle stereo system itself. The controls here are for the driver and the passenger separate, so that you can control the driver's side temperature, which you can see on the screen here as well. And that's so, again, it's placed so you don't have to continually put your eyes down lower than the roadway. And of course you can change that as well for both sides. And you can turn the temperature up or down, turn AC on or off. And of course it's got the heated seat for the driver and or the passenger. 3 different variations, low, high, and medium. The gear shifter, obviously, to put the vehicle in gear and drive, the park, and of course the different types of settings that you're going to want for the vehicle as you drive the vehicle, whether you want it in sport mode, drive mode, whichever particular type of mode that you want to place the vehicle in to drive it. Moving on here to the rear portion of the center console, you've got a beverage container here where you can put a beverage for the driver and the passenger. And of course, as we open this up, you've got a top portion as it opens up for storing some small items. Or you've got the larger center console portion where you've got a port here for an electronic device, and of course a 12-volt adaptive device as well, so you can plug any of your electronic equipment in as necessary. The next portion, of course, are the rear controls here for the air conditioning and heat, so that the folks in the back seat can control it and not be either frozen out or heated out of the vehicle. And of course, you got a control for both sides so that either person can again control the amount of air, heat, and or air conditioning they have in the back. And now we have the center roof inside console where we've got lighting here that's kind of like aircraft lighting, one for the driver and one for the passenger that are specific for that area. If the passenger wants to read or wants to look at something over here, that light is not distracting to the driver. You've also got the moonroof or sunroof, whichever you prefer, that comes open all the way, or once it's closed. And if you decide that you either don't want the sun or the moon shining in, you can certainly close this, and you've got that blocked out as well. On the left side of the driver compartment, you're going to have the controls for the windows and the door latch, and of course the positions here for the seat are on the side of the car here. And you're able to essentially move the seat backward, forward, up, down. It's got an 8-way distribution for the seat. It also has settings for the seat so that you can set 3 different types of settings for, let's say if you've got 3 members of the family, one is tall, one's medium, one's small. You can use one setting for each so that each time that person drives that vehicle, they can use that particular setting without having to readjust the seat for it. You got your power windows. And of course the mirrors are each controlled by this device, one to the right or one to the left, controls the passenger and of course the driver. It's also got a heated control for this, and the windshield wipers in the front also have a heater that allows the windshield wiper fluid to be heated as it is cleaning the front of the vehicle. It also has a couple of other features which we'll show you as we start to take off, which is night vision, which is a very unique feature of this vehicle indeed. What we're going to do now is take this out for a drive so that you can see how this thing handles on the road. So I'm going to first ask you to take a look right here, which is the rear camera. As I put it in reverse, it's going to go ahead and give me a rear view of where the vehicle's at, and it also gives us a graphic of approximately the vehicle's relation to all of the objects around it. So as we back up here, I'm going to give you a little bit of a demonstration of how well this system works. As we start to back up, we do have a vehicle back there, so I'm going to let you have an idea of what would happen or as we get closer to that vehicle. Obviously, I don't want to run into this beautiful 911 Porsche, but as we get closer, the proximity indicator shows me approximately how close I am to that vehicle, and of course warns me by the beeping. It's like a radar that beeps faster as we get closer to it. So obviously an excellent attribute of this vehicle. We'll go ahead and take this thing out on the road now. So we got the navigation system turned on here now, and of course the dark background indicates that it is night here in Kansas City as we're driving off. This is a really stable platform. I love this vehicle for the fact that it's sporty, it's fast, it's comfortable, it has every possible creature comfort available in it. Very easy to drive. You can literally drive this car with a fingertip, although I don't advise it. I advise keeping your hands at 10 and 2 as you're driving, but again, a very comfortable vehicle. So we're going to take this on a couple of the streets here after we make our correct turn. And I'll give you a couple of ideas about acceleration in this vehicle. We'll go ahead and do a quick one now. That gives you a little bit of an idea of how fast this thing is going to move along, and again, how quiet it is as you're accelerating, and how maneuverable it is, and how easy it is to drive this vehicle even at higher speeds. If you have occasion to have to pass several vehicles at once, or possibly get out of an emergency situation, obviously that's key to being able to have that quick acceleration. Again, it's easy to drive on almost any surface. It's easy to drive on every kind of road surface, whether you're on a long trip, short trip, driving in the city, etc., etc. And again, as I mentioned before, all the controls that you've got in the center console are redundant controls on the steering wheel itself as well, to be able to give you the opportunity to keep your eyes on the road. In this case, it may not be observable, but we do have a heads-up display on this particular vehicle, so that as I'm driving, I can actually see my miles per hour indicated on the heads-up display that pops up into the inside of the windshield. So again, another really unique feature of this vehicle that makes it easier, again, to keep your eyes on the road and not have to take them off to look down here or to look down here. Another unique feature that this vehicle has is what's called night vision. And what I'm going to ask you to do is take a look at the center here as I depress this. And what this does, it's an aid at night to be able to give you an idea of things that you might not see otherwise while you're driving at night. And as you can see, that it pretty much lights up everything. And in fact, even with the headlights off, this night vision works very aptly. So in this case, you're getting an idea of what it looks like with very, very low lumens or light coming into view. And as you can see, it's an adjunct. It's certainly not something that's intended to have you use all the time or keep it on, because you'll certainly miss things. But it is something that really comes in handy, particularly if you're on a very, very dark highway where there's low lighting or no lighting, where, let's say, a deer might jump out in front of you, or there might be something in the roadway such as a log or a tree or a rock or something that you may not be able to see. So again, it's something that's another attribute of the vehicle that is indicative of the time and the precision that Audi puts into their vehicles. And again, you can also, as you're driving, you don't have to look down at all to either turn up the radio, if that's what you wish to do, or turn it up from here. And again, once you've got your nav system or your radio on, whatever you choose to do, you can do everything that you need to do from the steering wheel. I will say that out of the vehicles that we've got in our fleet, this is the second S6 that we've had recently that has been almost immediately bitten upon by everybody that's seen it. We've got a lot of interest in this vehicle, and it's one of my favorites, I've got to say. Audi makes a wonderful touring vehicle, and it's something that is a pretty amazing car. It gives you a really, really stable ride. It's a comfortable ride, and of course the vehicle itself, just from the creature comforts alone that I mentioned earlier, one that you can take a long trip in this vehicle and be comfortable the entire way. Again, it's got a heated steering wheel, it's got heated seats, the air conditioning in the vehicle, ice cold, the heater, very, very hot. So that brings us to the end of our test drive in this beautiful 2013 Audi S6. Again, I'm Bob Krebs, sales manager with Pure Pursuit Automotive, and I'd like to thank you all for coming along on a test drive with us tonight, and I hope to talk with you soon. Pure Pursuit Automotive, 816-659-3027. Thanks a lot.